Hey everybody, it's Steve from Corporate Gone Country. I'm just an ex-corporate guy trying to do country things, and sometimes I even get them right. It's 6 o'clock in the morning here in Texas, and I'm about to go on a vacation. I'm leaving this morning for Wyoming, going to visit the Grand Tetons, Yellowstone Park, over to Devil's Tower and Mount Rushmore. My wife's going to join me in Casper, Wyoming, but I'm going to make the drive up to Casper on my own. Looking forward to that, actually. And just making this video log to see how the vacation goes, and I'll visit my 50th state along the way if all goes according to plan. So this is the route I'm taking, starting just north of Houston, Texas, running up through the Texas Panhandle, staying in Dumas, Texas, and then the next day heading up through the Oklahoma Panhandle and eastern Colorado to Cheyenne, Wyoming. Once I depart Cheyenne, I'll head up to Casper, where I'll meet my wife at the airport. We'll then head over to Junction, Wyoming, spend the night there, get up the next morning, visit the Tetons, spend 4 days in Yellowstone Park, drive over to Devil's Tower and Mount Rushmore. Then I'll bring her back to Casper, where she'll fly home, and I'll drive home from there. Now, I've been driving for about 2.5 to 3 hours. Going to pull into this world-famous Buc-ee's. So this looks like a pretty good week to go traveling. Gas is fairly cheap, $2.59.9 the day after Labor Day. You can't beat stopping at Buc-ee's, gas, food, and clean restrooms. So here I am at a rest area right on the edge of the Panhandle near Quanah, Texas. On my way to spend the night in Dumas, and got some nice weather out here for early September. Not even in the 80s, a little breeze blowing. Not much action in the playground in the rest area today. Being the day after Labor Day, kids are in school. Beautiful day out here. And look at those wide open spaces. Well, that was a little bit over 600 miles that I drove today. Ended up in Dumas, Texas. Got the windmills going in the background there. Looking for a local spot to have dinner, came across this 287 Roadhouse. Just what I'm looking for. Not bad for a combination sports bar and steakhouse. Well, it's day 2. It's 57 degrees out here in Dumas, Texas. It's a beautiful morning, and I'm headed to Cheyenne, Wyoming. Gas is a little bit more expensive here in Colorado, and it's only 85 octane. I'm trying to visit local restaurants on my way up to Casper, and this is the Wyoming Rib and Chop House in Cheyenne. Turns out it was well worth the visit. Well, yesterday was a pretty uneventful day driving through eastern Colorado. Today I'm headed from Cheyenne to Casper, only about 180 miles. Kind of a relaxing day. I don't have to be there till late in the afternoon as my wife's flight's been delayed, so I'm going to take it easy, maybe make some stops along the way. So here we are at the famous Tree Rock. And there it is. Pine tree growing right out of a rock. So I thought I'd pull into this rest area, elevation 8640. And I got a nice memorial to Abraham Lincoln here. Look at that, we're on the Lincoln Highway, which traverses 3,389 miles from coast to coast, from Times Square to the Golden Gate Bridge. There it is. So I decided to take a detour off the interstate into this national forest, and it was well worth it. Beautiful country. I'm hoping to catch a glimpse of a deer or something, but in the absence of that, it's definitely worth the detour. Well, to say that Wyoming is the wide open spaces is an understatement. I'm looking at miles upon miles upon miles of horizon here. I just am between Medicine Bow and Casper, and I decided to take off on a little county road. There's no traffic on, no other people, and it's awesome out here. So here we are headed from Casper to Junction, Wyoming. We're out in the middle of nowhere. Wyoming is just full of so many wide open spaces, and we get to see pronghorn antelope along the way. On this beautiful day. Look at that sky behind me. It's just awesome out here. About 60 degrees. You couldn't ask for a better day. Just so blessed to be here. So we stopped at a fish hatchery in Dumas, Colorado. Here is the Bear River Cutthroat Tank. I don't know if you can see that, but look at all those beautiful Bear River cutthroats. They've got all these nice informative placards here on the process of incubating fish and releasing them into the wild. And here's the tank for the fall river rainbows. Look at all those beautiful rainbow trout in there. Oh man, this is gorgeous. They've got quite an operation here, but unfortunately all the tanks in those shelters are empty. Sounds like we're at that part of the year where they're not using the big tanks. We're stopped here for some fire activity. Got a flagman right in front of this truck. This is all the way to Jackson. And everybody stopped looking at the bison here in Grand Tetons National Park. Getting ready to go on the Harley. And right 180 degrees are the Grand Tetons. So me and Mrs. Corporate Gone Country need to get to Jackson because we need to get ready for an evening float trip on the Snake River.
You'll probably be affected by it yourself. Standing in the front of I just had to go.
Well, here's the sun setting over the Tetons. This is a relaxing sight and a relaxing float trip. No rapids here, really. Just nice, slow floating.
Yeah. Like little snails in the rocks. I don't see them often here. Smaller than you find like your urban settings.
So it's day number 5, and Mrs. Corporate Gone Country and I are in Grand Tetons National Park. Behind me is the Church of the Transfiguration. We spent last night in Jackson, Wyoming. This church here behind me was built in the early 1900s, so people who lived in this valley wouldn't have to go far to go worship. It's a beautiful day out here in Grand Tetons National Park. Looking forward to some scenery and maybe seeing some wildlife. Unfortunately, there's some fires over to the east, and it's causing some haze here, which isn't that great for photographic opportunities, but just being here is a blessing. And that's a view if you're sitting in the pews looking up towards the pulpit in the Church of the Transfiguration. You really can't get enough of this view. There's a glacier right in the center of the screen. Just beautiful. Well, normally on a day like today, this would be a spectacular view over Jackson Hole Valley, but there's a lot of forest fires to the east over there that's completely obstructing the view. So we hit it on the right day weather-wise, but unfortunately the fires have obstructed the view. So we're almost to the top of Signal Mountain here, and looking to the west, it's still kind of smoky, but a little bit more clear. This is a beautiful view. Come on. Bald eagle. Well, the eagle flew down out of the tree, landed in the water, and grabbed something with its talons. And if you watch a little bit longer, it looks like it has a fish here. So have a look. Another one flew in.
Whoa! Not in the lake.
That's what the kids are for.
You guys like cranes, right? They are about 60 yards from us.
I can tell you the lake has been.
And we've left Lewis Lake, driving on to Old Faithful Inn, and we've reached the Continental Divide in Yellowstone Park. Just another day in Yellowstone Park. Well, it's day 6. We're here in Yellowstone Park, and we're waiting for the sun to come up. We're on a little photography outing, and we're stopped by this field with what's called bobby socks trees. You see those white sock looking things on the bottom of the trees. So beautiful morning, sun's just about to come up. Couldn't be more glorious. We're here in the side of the park that's got the fire hole. A lot of geothermal activity going on here. It's all over the place. This is our tour bus for the day. There's quite a story behind these buses and how they came back to Yellowstone, and at considerable cost to the tour operators. Mrs. Corporate Gone Country is learning new photography techniques. I learned how to take black and white photos and videos with my iPhone. As you'll see throughout this video, I just love raging rivers and streams running through the mountains. I just can't get enough of them. I love to video them and just sit out by them and watch the water flow. And here's the same little rapid, but in slow motion. Another thing that I experimented with on this trip on my iPhone. That was a nice little photographic outing for Mrs. Corporate Gone Country and I. We both learned a lot of new photographic techniques thanks to the tour guide. Here we are at the Old Faithful Geyser.
Yay! Whoa! Whoa! That's a lot of water. Whoa! This is amazing! Yeah! That's blasting! Woo! That's really high! Yay! Woo! This is amazing! What's she talking about? This is a very impressive. This is awesome. This could drown the entire park.
No, it couldn't.
Oh well. It's all turning into steam. Wow! It's exploding! Woo!
Jennifer. It's a nice steaming pool of hot water and bacteria. This is the fountain paint pot. And this is the leather pool.
You'll be smelling it tonight when you get back to your room, or get your clothes on.
Well, that's what's called the morning geyser. And there's the fountain geyser. The Grand Prismatic Spring. The sun's kind of at the wrong angle here. To get a good shot of the colors. There's a little blue tone right there. It's day 7. We're still in Yellowstone Park. We're overlooking a little bubbling spring here in the Porcelain Basin. Now this is called the Porcelain Spring. See these little vent holes down here, kind of everywhere. It's kind of like whack-a-mole. Here we are at the Norris Geyser Basin. That's Mother Earth just blowing off steam. Geysers everywhere. Well, we made it to Mammoth, and it's pretty crowded here. It's a nice day, and there was a lot of people photographing these elk that had parked themselves on the lawn of one of the city buildings. This is a nice 6x6 bull with its harem. I got this bull elk at about 80-90 yards. My wife spotted him off the road. So we're ending our day at the world famous Lake Yellowstone Hotel, overlooking Yellowstone Lake. The sun has already gone down over the horizon. The lake is nice and fairly calm. So we're taking another photographic safari with a different guide this time, and early in the morning we came upon this bear. Her name is Raspberry with her cub. That's about 150 yards. Maybe a little less. Yeah.
Oh, look at the cub running and bouncing.
Saw a few mule deer out the window of the bus as we were driving around. And we were trying to catch the sun just right as it hit that mist coming up from the bottom of the waterfall. Trying to catch a rainbow in the shot, but we couldn't get it. The Grand Canyon of Yellowstone. Okay, we're at Hayden Valley.
Oh, see.
And we've got a nice herd of buffalo.
You're welcome.
That's probably about 400 yards to the first ones.
Grass is like weirdly over there.
Here we are at the Lahardy Rapids on the Yellowstone River. Okay, here we are at the Mud Volcano area, and this is the Mud Cauldron. I'm just kind of on my own this afternoon, taking in a few of the sites that Mrs. Corporate Gone Country is not interested in. So that's a nice little boiling mud cauldron. And this is simply known as the Mud Geyser. I guess that aptly describes what it is. And this is aptly named the Churning Cauldron. More mud volcano. Hey guy. Some beautiful falls coming down this mountain. And that's where they get busy. Okay, we've got a waterfall here. Got a nice little rainbow going from the vantage point I'm at. got that rainbow again. Nice. That was the brink of the upper falls. We got bison in the road here. I'm filming with my Meta smart glasses, so I got both hands on the wheel. About as close as you can get. I wonder if this guy's gonna come across. Yeah, he is. Come on, dude. There you go. Here's some more. This is quite a herd right here. Day 9, and we're leaving the Lake Yellowstone Hotel, leaving Yellowstone National Park. It's kind of sad. I really enjoy this place, but we're headed over to Devil's Tower. Well, we made it to Devil's Tower, and the wind was blowing so bad that the audio on the video that I made was just not coming through, so I'm just dubbing over it for now. We're going to actually visit the tower in the morning. So here we are on the deck of the 7-7 Steakhouse in Shulet, Wyoming, ready to have dinner with this view. Pretty civilized for a town of 500. Here we are on day 10 in Wyoming. I'm at a prairie dog town here, and we just have a short driving day today, so we have a lot of time for sightseeing. I think you can see that little prairie dog behind me. And then if I just flip 180 degrees, I'm at Devil's Tower. Look at all these little guys and gals dotted around the landscape. These two right here are only about 5 yards away from me. This one was a little shy, but she's not too concerned now. I don't know, that one looks like a male to me just because it's big, and that one looks like a female because it's not, but that's about as scientific as I can get. There's a 1.3 mile walk around the base of the tower as outlined on this placard. We did that 1.3 mile loop in the morning, so these are morning shots. Obviously, what time of day that you visit is going to have an effect on how your photos are going to look depending on the angle of the sun. And we saw some early morning climbers. They're within striking distance of the top. There they are, right there in the middle of the screen. This is really a majestic natural rock formation. It's really cool. That's known as the window. Got a woodpecker here going to town. Here we are at the boulder field on the west side of the tower. I'm visiting today my 50th U.S. state, and it happens to be South Dakota. I've been stuck on the high 40s for a long time, but I visited Hawaii in 2013. I visited Alaska, my 49th state, in 2019, and I finally made it to my 50th state, South Dakota, today in September of 2024. Hi guys, it's a beautiful morning at Mount Rushmore. Just looking up at the mountain. Can't see too much detail from here, but I'm on my hotel room porch just enjoying a morning coffee in the cool weather. So here we are at the Crazy Horse Memorial. I had no idea this existed. It's a work in progress as a memorial to Chief Crazy Horse, who was part of the Battle of Custer's Last Stand. And apparently they're going to turn that into that. I think they got a long way to go. So here we are at the Needle's Eye Tunnel. That's the needle right there. Crowded spot on the Needles Highway, but it's got some cool rock formations. Just another view right before the Needle Eye Tunnel. Kind of a one-lane tunnel here. Looks like it's self-regulated.
Watch your mirrors.
So here we are at a scenic overlook at the top of Iron Mountain Road. And Mount Rushmore, I'm told, is a mile away. And after half a day of driving around the Black Hills, we end up at Mount Rushmore National Monument. So here we are at the Grand Terrace, looking at Mount Rushmore. Zoom in a little bit more on George, Thomas, Teddy, and Abraham. These are afternoon photos, so there's a bit of a shadow on Teddy Roosevelt. You might want to try to come to Mount Rushmore in the morning, and I think there will be less shadows if you're interested in taking photographs. Nice culmination here today, beautiful weather, not a lot of crowds, so great day to visit Mount Rushmore. We're on the wildlife loop here in Custer State Park, and we got a mama and some young turkeys. There's a bunch of donkeys in the road here. Here's some off to the side. And these are the donkeys that are looking for a handout. And there's a bunch of bison on the road here. And up on the hill. Here we are right by the road. This is as close as I've ever been to a pronghorn. It's only about 15 feet away. Well, it's day 12 and I'm still in South Dakota. Gonna drive to Casper, Wyoming today and get ready to put my wife on a plane tomorrow. And then I'll drive home to North Houston and reunite with her there about 3 or 4 days from now. I'm just gonna take my time. I don't expect a lot of sightseeing along the way in terms of famous landmarks and that kind of stuff. I just want to survey the countryside as I drive through places like Colorado and New Mexico. Here's an overview of the route that I'm going to take home. I'm going to start up in Casper, drive down to Grand Junction, just taking my time. And then after a night in Grand Junction, I'm going to take a little detour over a mountain road there outside of Montrose, Colorado. Spend the night in Taos, and then the next day drive from Taos to Abilene, Texas, where I'll eventually make it to Houston. Well, I said we might not do any sightseeing today, but there was this turnout where you can view the profile of George Washington on Mount Rushmore, so we thought we'd stop in here and just get a look. There's George. I left Mrs. Corporate Gone Country at the airport in Casper, Wyoming this morning, and she's making her way back to Texas. And I have the opportunity to drive back to Texas by myself. I'm going to take a few detours along the way and probably make it a little bit longer trip than I should, but I want to see a few things and take my time. So enjoy Moffat County, Colorado with me today. It's a beautiful day, a few clouds in the sky. but its temperature's marvelous, and there's just not too many people out here, so just kind of fun to be out. Well, this morning I'm on the Cimarron Road, which is in between Highway 50, east of Montrose, Colorado, and I'm headed to Ridgway, Colorado, over a gravel road that's going to be about a 50-mile drive. And the reason that I'm here is I used to bow hunt in this area, bow hunt for elk, but way back when I was younger, say I was about 35 years old, and I just wanted to revisit the area, soak in the scenery, and relive some of those memories. So to get to the Cimarron Road, you head east out of Montrose on Highway 50 for about 12 miles. Turn south on the road, you pass Silverjack Reservoir, go over Owl Creek Pass, and eventually you'll hit the town of Ridgway. Most of what I'm showing you here is from the Uncompahgre National Forest. I highly recommend a visit. It's a Monday morning, so I don't expect a lot of traffic along the road. The sun's just come up over there, and it's a beautiful 51 degrees. A little weather hanging around, but nothing too serious. And I know the video camera won't give this justice, but this is just as gorgeous as it gets. This is beautiful elk hunting country. Oh man, I used to be able to run up and down these mountains, but not anymore. I don't think these gals are supposed to be on the road. I just thought this was a beautiful shot right across from the entrance to a campground. You see those high aspen meadows up there starting to change color. And we got a few of the local residents here. Cattle. They don't like me being here. And this is the overlook for Silverjack Reservoir. Hey, we got a little weather in here. I was expecting that. It's nothing major. Just makes it look more special. Well, I went down a little fishing access road here to Silverjack Reservoir, and it's mid-September, so it's not surprising that the reservoir is pretty dry. I just had to come and capture this little mountain stream on a rainy day. Just nothing better than a little mountain stream, scenery-wise. Well, I just thought I'd pull over and get this shot of these mountains here. If I was an elk today, there's a lot of people running around in hunter orange, so I'm gonna check, but I believe it's rifle season. Again, if I was an elk today, I'd be right up there at the base of those rocks. You have to be a pretty hardy hunter to get up there and chase the elk. And here we are at the top of Owl Creek Pass. (10,114 feet. There's just so much dramatic scenery here, it's unbelievable. I believe that's Courthouse Mountain, and I think that's called Chimney Rock. I'll verify when I get back. Okay, folks, I remember this spot from 30 years ago. There's a ravine right here. We parked our truck right here at this turnout, and we went down that ravine, and then we went up those slopes to the base of those rocks, trying to look for elk while we were bow hunting. And this is just glorious country. Just glorious. Oh, it's just hard to describe. Beautiful. Well, today is just a travel day from Taos, New Mexico to Abilene, Texas. It's a little over 500 miles. So I'll spend the night there and then my final leg home. Don't expect to see too much today in terms of interesting sights and that kind of stuff, but hey, it's 500 miles, so you never know. Well, just when I said there would be nothing to look at, I'm driving through the Carson National Forest, Sun's up over the mountains. And there's a just marvelous valley below with some clouds hanging down in the valley and mountains everywhere. And right now, not a car in sight. This road isn't traveled all that much, so I really never knew that the Carson National Forest existed, but it's been beautiful so far. Well, I finally made it home. Day 16. Those are the stats from my trip. 4,563 miles driven, average 22.5 miles per gallon in this F-150. 98 hours of driving time. And that seems like a lot, but I'm really glad I drove. Well, that's the end of the video. I've been planning this trip for a couple of years. I finally got to take it. I got to take it in the month of September, which is the month I wanted to go, mainly because it was going to be cool weather and quite a bit different from Texas. The trip exceeded my expectations. I really enjoyed Yellowstone Park, the Tetons, Devil's Tower, Mount Rushmore, and the Black Hills area. So if you're ever contemplating doing this, I highly recommend it. Bye now.